Good morning. As the sun rises over Milwaukee, the city awakens to a crisis that has unfolded overnight. Southeast Wisconsin is facing a life-threatening flash flood emergency after a night of relentless, slow-moving thunderstorms. The skies opened up with little warning, unleashing hours of torrential rain that pounded the region, turning familiar streets into rivers and neighborhoods into islands. The National Weather Service has issued urgent warnings as water levels rise rapidly, especially in Milwaukee and eastern Waukesha counties. Residents received emergency alerts on their phones throughout the night, urging them to seek higher ground and avoid travel if possible. The storm is creeping north, putting southern Washington and Ozaukee counties at risk, with a broader flood watch for Kenosha, Racine, and Walworth. Rural roads are submerged, and flood warning signs now dot the landscape, signaling the danger is spreading beyond the city. Urban areas like Milwaukee are hit hardest. Pavement and concrete force water into overwhelmed storm drains, causing creeks and rivers to spill over. The city's infrastructure is being pushed to its limits, with water rushing over streets and sidewalks, and entire blocks disappearing beneath the floodwaters. Streets have become rivers, homes and businesses are threatened, and emergency crews are stretched thin responding to stranded drivers and flooded basements. Firefighters and first responders are working around the clock, rescuing families trapped in their vehicles and helping residents evacuate waterlogged homes. Power outages and major event cancellations are widespread, and the danger is far from over with more rain expected. Utility crews are racing to restore electricity as downed trees and power lines block roads, while community events and gatherings have been called off, leaving venues empty and silent. This is not a typical summer storm. It's a historic event disrupting daily life for hundreds of thousands. Families are evacuating, businesses are shuttered, and entire communities are coming together to help those in need as the floodwaters continue to rise. The full extent of the damage is still unknown, but this storm will be remembered for its intensity and impact. As residents begin to assess the aftermath, the community faces a long road to recovery, united by resilience in the face of disaster. The National Weather Service has elevated the flash flood warning for Milwaukee and Waukesha counties to a considerable threat. This means severe, ongoing flooding is already happening, posing a real danger to life and property. The considerable tag signals that rescues are likely, roads will be impassable, and low-lying structures are at high risk. Meteorologists describe the atmosphere as a soupy air mass, fueling hours of torrential rain over the same neighborhoods. Urban surfaces worsen the crisis, with water surging into streets and homes. If you see this warning, stay off roads, seek higher ground, and monitor emergency alerts. Conditions can worsen in minutes. Treat this warning with utmost seriousness. Immediate action is essential. The rainfall totals are staggering. This is not just a heavy shower, but a relentless downpour that has persisted for hours on end, leaving residents and meteorologists alike in disbelief. In some neighborhoods, gauges have recorded over 6 inches of rain in just 24 hours, a number that would be remarkable even over the course of an entire month. To put that in perspective, that's more than a typical August's worth of rain falling in a single day, an event that can overwhelm even the best-prepared communities. Widespread reports confirm 3 to 6 inches across Metro Milwaukee, with some isolated pockets seeing even higher amounts, and forecasts warn that more rain could be on the way. The ground is now completely saturated, unable to absorb any more water. Every new drop becomes dangerous runoff, quickly overwhelming streams, storm drains, and local drainage systems. Slow-moving storms have repeatedly drenched neighborhoods like West Allis and Wauwatosa, turning what might have been manageable rainfall into a full-blown emergency. Creeks that are usually calm have become raging torrents. Parks and sports fields are now completely underwater, and green spaces have transformed into temporary lakes. Across the region, homeowners are scrambling to save their belongings as basements fill with water, and families face the daunting task of cleaning up after the floodwaters recede. The region's infrastructure is being pushed to its absolute limits, with emergency crews working around the clock to respond to calls and block off flooded streets. This is a textbook example of how persistent heavy rain can trigger catastrophic flash flooding, catching many off guard and making travel nearly impossible. The damage is everywhere. Homes, businesses, and public spaces have all been affected. For many, the road to recovery will be long, difficult, and filled with uncertainty. The powerful storms have not only brought heavy rain and flooding, but have also crippled the region's power grid, plunging entire neighborhoods into darkness. As the winds howled and lightning flashed, tens of thousands of residents suddenly found themselves without electricity, their homes eerily quiet except for the sound of the storm outside. We Energies reported that more than 38,000 customers were without power as of early Sunday morning. For families already struggling with rising floodwaters, the loss of electricity has made an already dire situation even more challenging. Many are relying on flashlights and battery-powered lanterns to navigate their homes, while utility crews race to assess the damage. High winds and frequent lightning strikes have brought down trees and power lines across the region. In Menominee Falls, damage was reported as early as Saturday evening, with emergency vehicles responding to hazardous downed lines and blocked roads. The combination of wind, rain, and electrical hazards has made the situation especially dangerous for both residents and first responders. Power outages during severe flooding are particularly dangerous. Without electricity, families lose access to lighting, sump pumps stop working, and basements quickly fill with water, and it becomes difficult to charge phones or contact emergency services. For many, the darkness adds to the anxiety and uncertainty of the storm. Utility crews are working around the clock, braving hazardous conditions to restore power. Flooded roads, fallen trees, and ongoing storms make repairs slow and dangerous. Many workers are wading through water and battling the elements to reach damaged equipment, determined to bring relief to affected communities as quickly as possible. Residents in the hardest-hit areas are being urged to prepare for extended outages. Stocking up on essentials like water, non-perishable food, batteries, and first aid supplies is crucial. With grocery store shelves quickly emptying, planning ahead can make a significant difference in staying safe and comfortable during the blackout. Stay safe by conserving battery power, using flashlights instead of candles to reduce fire risk, and following updates from local officials. Keep a battery-powered radio handy for emergency information, and use portable chargers to keep phones operational for as long as possible. The combination of widespread flooding and prolonged power loss poses a serious threat to both safety and recovery efforts. As emergency responders work tirelessly to help those in need, everyone is urged to remain vigilant, support neighbors, and prioritize safety until the crisis passes. The Wisconsin State Fair, a beloved summer tradition, became a symbol of the storm's impact as flooding forced an early closure. Fairgrounds in West Allis were quickly submerged, prompting officials to evacuate and cancel all remaining events, including the main stage concert. Images showed water covering thoroughfares and iconic buildings, turning the bustling fair into a ghost town. The closure underscored the severity of the situation and the need to prioritize public safety. While disappointing for many, the decision was necessary as conditions became life-threatening. The empty, flooded fairgrounds are a stark reminder of the storm's power and unpredictability. Across southeast Wisconsin, roads have become rivers. Major highways and local streets are impassable, stranding drivers and halting transportation. The Stadium Interchange and Highway 175 saw deep water and lane closures, with similar scenes in Wauwatosa, Brookfield, and Greenfield. Low-lying underpasses filled rapidly, trapping unsuspecting motorists and requiring dramatic rescues. Emergency responders are overwhelmed, unable to barricade every danger spot. Flooded roads also delay first responders, utility crews, and public works, slowing emergency response across the region. Officials are urging everyone, stay home unless it's an absolute emergency. The risk on the roads is real and immediate. Your safety, and the safety of those who may need to rescue you, depends on staying off flooded streets. The most important safety rule: never drive through flooded roads. Turn around, don't drown. Most flash flood deaths in the U.S. happen in vehicles. People underestimate water's power and overestimate their car's abilities. Just 12 inches of moving water can float a car. 18 inches can sweep away SUVs and trucks. Floodwater hides dangers. Washed out roadbeds, debris, even downed power lines. Once your tires lose contact with the road, you're at the mercy of the current. If you see water over the road, stop, turn around, and find another route. If no safe route exists, wait on high ground until the water recedes. A short delay is nothing compared to the risk of tragedy. In a flash flood, quick action saves lives. Stay informed with a battery-powered radio or phone alerts. If told to evacuate, do so immediately. Don't wait for waters to rise. Move to higher ground in your home. Never shelter in a closed attic where you could be trapped. Avoid contact with floodwater. It's contaminated and hides hazards. Gather essentials, water, food, medications, flashlight, and a whistle. Unplug appliances if you lose power and avoid electrical equipment if you're wet or standing in water. If trapped in a car with rising water, abandon the vehicle for higher ground if it's safe. Your life is worth more than your belongings. Stay calm, prioritize safety, and help others if you can. The threat isn't over. More storms are forecast through Monday, and the ground can't absorb any more rain. Flood watches remain in effect for much of southeast Wisconsin, with rivers and creeks already at or above flood stage. Residents in low-lying areas must stay alert and be ready to act if water rises again. Clear gutters and drains if safe, secure outdoor items, and have a family evacuation plan and go bag ready. Stay vigilant, follow official advice, and check on vulnerable neighbors. The coming days will require patience and caution as the region shifts from response to recovery. By working together and staying prepared, southeast Wisconsin can weather this crisis safely.